Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. Today we're going over every setting in Assassin's Creed. I'm just going to keep this intro nice and short. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, coming in dead last is Assassin's Creed Rogue. The reason why I put this game last is because, for starters, we've had this setting before already of New York, which they didn't even include Boston in it. And I think the color palette in this game is kind of bland. Like if you look at the background of me doing parkour, it's just kind of plain. There's not really too much vibrate and really just not that great overall design. But I will say it did pretty good with having three different diverse places, including the River Valley. That place has a lot of nice places like Albany, as you can see, is very well designed, a lot more dense, but there isn't that many dense cities, and I feel like New York honestly wasn't as good as it was in AC3. So that's one of the reasons why it fell so far down in the list. Overall, it's not a bad setting. I don't think there's really any bad setting in Assassin's Creed at all, but it's just not one of my favorites, especially at the North Atlantic. I didn't really care too much about. I really didn't like it that much. It's just a bunch of snow, and other than that, there's really nothing too special about it. So that's the main reason I put this in dead last. And honestly, that's the main reasons why. I still do enjoy this game a lot. I still love replaying it, but I never really replayed it for its setting. Overall, still a good game though. All right, next ranking. This one might make a little bit of you guys mad because it is during the Ezio trilogy. It's Constantinople. And one of the reasons I ranked this one so low is, to be fully honest with you, I really don't remember the setting too much. I mean, yes, I like it's a dense city. Like there's a lot of parkour, there's a lot of stuff you can do, but maybe it's just because I never really cared for this location. I personally just don't really remember this setting at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful setting. It looks great, but there's, in my opinion, really nothing that sticks out to me. Like I like to see historical landmarks, which I don't doubt there's definitely historical landmarks in AC Revelations. It's just they never really made me want to go back into the game just to go see them or anything like that. The color palette's pretty good. It's still kind of dull. I kind of wish they had more vibration, more vibrant colors. But overall, it's still definitely a beautiful game. I definitely I like the rooftops a lot. I really like the designs of them. Also, these very tall pillars are very gorgeous. Overall, though, I feel like this game lacks a lot of foliage, like trees and bushes. I mean, there's a good amount of trees, and I know a lot of people don't care too much for that type of stuff, but I just feel like the more foliage and more like plants and stuff makes the game stick out more and have more of a color to it. I'm very, very keen on the way the color palette looks, the way the world's like vibe comes off is very, very important to me. So overall, this game is amazing, and I really do enjoy it. But the setting just didn't really do too much for me. But also, guys, please do remember that this is just my opinion. You guys do not have to agree, nor do I really want you to agree unless you do. But overall, this is why I put Assassin's Creed Revelations near the end. It's not a bad setting. There's no bad settings in Assassin's Creed. It's just not my favorite. So without further ado, let's get into the next one. All right. Now, this might ruffle a few feathers, and I'm okay to take the heat. But yes, Assassin's Creed 1 will be my third least favorite setting. The main reason behind it is I just don't care too much for these places. Jerusalem, Damascus, the heart of the kingdom, every one of those places are amazing. Masyaf, amazing. It's just I didn't care too much for it, and I kind of felt that obviously this game's from 2007, but I felt like it was a little dull in terms of design. Like, not design, let me rephrase that. In seeing NPCs do stuff, which obviously I understand. It's 2007. This game desperately needs a remake. Hopefully, after the Black Flag remake, they remake this game. But I just overall feel like this game doesn't really have too much actual full fledged details. Obviously, the buildings are gorgeous and everything like that. But that's just kind of my main reasons why I don't have this game ranked as high as all the others. But again, the setting is beautiful. I have no gripe about the settings too much. It's just not one of my favorites. Next one up is Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. And the main reason I put Rome so low is I felt like it kind of lacked a lot of extra space. Like I felt like a lot of the plains was just kind of boring. It was just mostly just grass. Was a large part of the map. Excuse me. The Colosseum was absolutely gorgeous to see. The palace in Rome was awesome. But I felt like a lot of the places kind of looked very similar. Obviously, the city itself is, going to be very similar in design. But I just felt like it was kind of a downgrade compared to AC2's Florence, Monteregione, Venice. I feel like it was kind of a downgrade. Now, Rome is bigger overall than all those maps combined from AC2. But honestly, I just didn't care too much for the atmosphere. I think it lacked a lot of design, but overall, it's still a beautiful setting nonetheless. And I would definitely recommend anyone to play this game, even just for the setting too, because this is where it starts getting really hard to rank these because they're all super, super close in my opinion. It's just certain games I care more about because I care more about the location it's in, really. Rome is a beautiful city nonetheless, but I just personally didn't have too much care for it as much as I did for AC2's settings, but it's nonetheless still an amazing setting in Assassin's Creed. All right, and the next game I have is Assassin's Creed 3. The reason I put this game here is because I felt like it lacked a bit of color and like not very vibrant at all. It's kind of dim to me, but overall, this is still a good setting between New York, Boston, the homestead, and the frontier. It's still obviously an amazing setting. I still had a great time playing this game. I really like the historical accuracy in this. You can see women carrying baskets. You can see people at the markets selling fish, people at the markets buying fish. You can see people traveling hay bales with horses. It all looks very realistic to what the time period matches, which I like a lot. I think is a very important thing for Assassin's Creed games to have to emulate is making sure that the NPCs are, mirroring what they would be doing during that actual time period. You guys see people like scrubbing windows, cleaning floors, cleaning off shops. You can see a lot of accuracy, especially like inside the buildings. Like I feel like the taverns in this game are probably the best in this series. I think they were the most fleshed out compared to Black Flag and Rogue. So overall, this game to me is still a very good game. I really love the setting. I just wish the trees were a little more green sometimes and they weren't always just like a very yellowish, dim kind of color. Because as you guys know me, I've stated multiple times, but I really like tropical looking, more vibrant colors. I feel like it just makes the atmosphere so much nicer to roam around in. It's not so like dark tone, if that makes sense. But it is a dark time period during the American Revolution, so that does make sense. It's just not my favorite. But overall, this game is still amazing and it holds up very well to this day. So let's move on to the next one. All right, the next one I have is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now, this setting, honestly, I have very mixed opinions about overall. The world itself is drop dead gorgeous. The way the leaves, the trees, and all the foliage moves is just honestly amazing. Looks really realistic and beautiful. And the water in this game is just drop dead gorgeous, especially for being. I mean, it was like 2020, so it's not super old. It's already 6 years, which is just crazy to think Valhalla is that old. But it still obviously looks amazing. I really enjoyed going to like London when it was, obviously pre-London before how as we know it today. But it looked really good in this game. It's just I feel like a lot of the open space was just filled of just landscapes that had nothing really there besides maybe rocks and stuff, which kind of killed a little bit of it because there was no parkour availability really in this game. In my opinion, I think it has the second worst parkour in the franchise. But overall, in terms of graphics, like this game is gorgeous. It's just I don't think the world was really made that well. It's just really spaced out, especially like when you go into Yorkvik, I think it's called, up in like the north. I didn't really care for the snowier biomes. I don't care that much for like snowy areas. I like the realism in the games, but I personally just don't care that much for them. Don't be wrong, they're very gorgeous, but a lot of the places were very empty besides maybe London, Yorkvik, I forgot what that one place is. I think it's like Winchester, maybe. I don't know what it's called. But I just feel like it was very emptied and didn't have too much space. Overall, though, the building designs are very good. I like the village huts between like just little leaf huts, or not leaf huts, just regular like hay bale huts compared to like stone buildings. I really like that. I like the old Roman arch- architects. That one looks really, really good overall. It looks really nice. The old Roman builds. That one is really cool to see. But other than that, really overall, I would rate it not super high on my list just because I just feel like it was kind of dim in terms of kind of too empty for my liking, honestly, overall. So that's why I put Valhalla in this place, but it's an okay game to me. So let's just move on to the next one. All right, and coming in next is Assassin's Creed Shadows. I know a lot of people probably have this ranked a lot higher than I do. I mean, graphically, it's probably the best in the franchise by far. The weather system in this game is amazing. The way the plants and trees work is amazing. I think the main thing that let it down for me is the towns really just weren't my favorite. None of them really stood out to me. And honestly, traversing in the world was a pain. I don't know if you guys ever try to go up a mountain when there's a bunch of plants, but it was quite literally impossible to get up. You basically had to follow the trail no matter what, which I feel like kind of restricting my movement in the open world, which I really just didn't like that much. But I think the main thing for me was just the towns, and some of the locations were kind of repetitive, like the castles and stuff like that. So honestly, graphically, this game's gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous. But overall, to me, this game just kind of lacked depth and really just didn't have that good of cities or villages or towns. And the world was a bit restricting with all the foliage and plants that were everywhere. But nonetheless, still a great game. So let's move on to the next one. All right, and the next game I have is Assassin's Creed Syndicate. And the main reason I put this ranking up so high is purely for the fact of how accurate the time period was. I think Syndicate has the best overall detailed accuracy of what people's lives were like back during this time. Like at the very first mission with Jacob, you can literally see kids getting crushed, kids working in the factories constantly, people getting hurt, working environments being dirty, not well taken care of. Everyone's covered in coal and dust and dirt. You can see people sweeping, you can see people doing a bunch of stuff, selling at the markets, kids playing like random little games that you've never even seen before. Syndicate did really well in that department of details. My main issue with Syndicate is I think a lot of the buildings looked very, very similar. Like they were almost just copy and pasted, which I didn't like that much. I didn't really like how they didn't have too much diversity in the building designs. And obviously, what I feel like most people's main gripe is the wide streets of London. But in London's defense, it really was like that back in this time period. So they were just trying to stay true to that a little bit. But I do understand people's frustration. It's just not that good for parkour when the streets are super wide, which is, I think, the main reason they added the grapple blade in was because of how wide the streets were and how tall the older buildings were. But let me tell you, like the Tower of London is gorgeous. The palace, amazing. There's a lot of historical things in this game that look really good. Like the train stations, they all look amazing to me. It's just I think the way the world was designed in the layout wise, it just really wasn't that good. And I've said this about a lot of all the other games. The foliage as well. There's just not that many trees, or there's very minor little ones, but there's not that much plants around. It's kind of very dull, but I mean it makes sense. This was the Industrial Revolution. There's just a bunch of factories running, smoke blowing everywhere out of every single building you can see. So it makes sense. But overall, this is why I put Syndicate in this rank. So let's just go ahead and move on to the next one. All right, and next I have is Assassin's Creed Mirage. The main reason I put Assassin's Creed Mirage so high up is because I really missed when they just had a singular city, because they were able to focus on just that city alone, add so much detail, which is exactly what happened in Mirage. Mirage, every district looks different. You can tell which one's the busy merchants, which one's more of like the science and history and study, and which one's more of like the royal palace area. As back in this time period, um, the Caliph would basically they would have a bunch of plants and foliage to kind of show power It was like a way of showing their allies and their enemies that they have power by putting plants everywhere. And so inside the round city, you can see a lot more foliage, which I thought was a sick detail that they added into this game, and just kind of shows how much detail went into these games. And I feel like every place this looks different. But I will say the one reason it didn't go higher is because I think the outside wilderness really just didn't get paid attention to, and honestly, is just not that enjoyable. Besides maybe Anbar and very little villages, there's not really much to do outside of the actual city of Baghdad. But nonetheless, I'm glad they focused on the main city because it looks great. It's tropical, it's colorful. Even though it's a sandy place, it's very colorful. And honestly, it looks really good, which I'm very glad that they paid attention to the singular city because they did one good job and they added a lot of details and the buildings all look amazing, honestly. Overall, a very good setting and a very good game. 100% would recommend it. Let's move on to the next one. All right, and next one I have is Assassin's Creed 2. Man, let me tell you, between going from Florence to Venice to Monteriggioni to Tuscany, every single one of those cities were so diverse and so different. You could visually tell that you were in a different location from the colors pattern, the color schemes. Everything was just very well put together and overall looked amazing. The main gripe I have with this game is again, I just felt it was kind of dim. I know people are going to probably, knock me a little bit for saying how much I care about the colors of each game, but that's just how I criterize these and I just prefer more tropical locations and, that's just my opinion. But let me tell you, like from this point on, like any of these settings are amazing and above. It's just I had to rank them somewhere, and these were mine. But let me tell you, these are all amazing. Not one single gripe at all about these for the most part. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and move on into the next one. The next one I have up, this one I think is going to make the people the most mad. I have Assassin's Creed Unity at fourth, I believe. And I know a lot of people are probably going to be really upset about this because I know every time I see a tier list of people's settings, usually this one's either first or second. And honestly, I can't blame you. Let me tell you, these last four were truly so hard to rank because I love every single one of them so much. I love Unity's realism just as much as I love Syndicate's. I think Syndicate's was a little bit better, but I love how people had, beat up clothes. There was beggars everywhere. People were living in sewer with rats. Like I love how accurate was and how much crowd there was. Like the amount of crowds there was for this game in 2014 was insane. They had to tone it down because there was too many people, and the old consoles just really couldn't run it that well. But overall, honestly, there's nothing too much I have to say that's not good about this setting. I think for me, again, I just prefer more tropical locations overall. But let me tell you, the rooftops also were a little bit repetitive. Some of them felt very copy and pasted on. They didn't really feel too like diverse at all. A lot of the windows and the roofs were like the same color, same pattern design, which I mean, it makes sense. I understand that. It's just I kind of wish they were a little bit more diverse in that aspect. But overall, for the most part, this game really didn't have too many issues. The trees again though were a little bit dim. I like my trees bright green. You guys know this. I've said it a million times in just this video. You're probably already tired of hearing it, and I apologize. But overall, this game setting is really, really good. There's not too much to really knock for it. I mean, it's a dense city. The parkour in this game is pretty good. It's not my favorite, but overall, it's very dense, which is perfect for parkour enthusiasts. And it just looks beautiful, especially in Nostradam, which they literally had people reused it. The architects reused it when it burnt down, just as a reference photo to see how it looked because of how accurate and detailed it was. Which I get is why a lot of people put it in their top one or two, but I just don't. Other than that, though, this game's amazing. I 100% recommend it, and I think you guys should just walk around and explore the streets to see how accurate it is. So let's just move on to the next one. All right, and coming in third place is Assassin's Creed Black Flag. These last three guys were, I was back and forth for about 10 minutes trying to decide which ones I wanted to place where. And Black Flag came third for me. I don't know how it's gonna be. It might become first after we play Resynced based off the footage that's came out. But I'm going off the old version of the game, I guess now, which doesn't even sound right. Which honestly, for being in 2013, this game holds up super well. The main thing I love about this game is the diversity between Havana, then you go to Nassau and Kingston. You can really tell the difference between each one, especially like the music change. Where you go to Havana, it's more Spanish music, and all the buildings actually look a lot different. And then Nassau, you go, it's a lot more calm and a lot more, drunk pirates and uh, beat up buildings, beat up places. This kind of looks more rough, as a pirate was. They were a lot more rough and hardened, I guess, compared to, I don't know, the Spanish and the British. And then the British, every building's a lot more classy. It's not as dirty compared to like Nassau. They're very professional in a way. I don't really know how to explain it too well, but they look very ready and prepared, if that makes any sense to you guys. So I really like the diversity. And again, this game has a lot of green, a lot of tropical colors, which, as you guys know, I love. And it looks overall amazing from it. I love how each one of them is very diverse. I love sailing the ocean, listening to those shanties. The ocean in this game, for being 2013, is literally still stunning to this day. It still looks amazing. Being over to go underwater, diving, to go see shipwrecks was really awesome. All the little islands, some of them were a little repetitive, but each one of them kind of had a different design to them. They didn't look fully copycat, which I liked a lot. And then being able to sail in your ship and just watch the beautiful ocean breeze as you're just sailing, coasting, seeing all the other ships, seeing all these Spanish frigates, brigs, all the British versions of them, even some of your own pirate crews. It was really nice to see. And then when you're sailing past Havana and Kingston, you can kind of see how it all looks. You can see like the fort in Havana. You can see Port Royal in Kingston. I think it was very detailed and very diverse and different, to where each location you went to didn't just feel the same constantly, which I think is very important for Assassin's Creed games. And you guys know I love tropical and I love greenery and making the game look very shiny and bright of colors. So overall, this game is still amazing to this day, even the old version. So we'll see how the remake maybe changes this ranking. So we'll see how that goes. But as of right now, it's currently in third place. The next one we have is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I don't even know where to begin with this game. This game is drop dead gorgeous. From the tropical islands to the more pilgrim looking lands of Phokis, being able to go to Sparta to see the old red designs, the military design, the very kingdom like looking palaces. Then you go to Athens, which is the more crowded city with more blue color, more designed around it, the Athenian walls. And then my favorite place personally in Corinth, which is the most dense city. And it has a bunch of tropical looking islands, especially Mykonos. That island, if you've never seen it, is truly one of a kind. That island is drop dead gorgeous. I love the architect. I've watched a whole video going over the history in Athens. I truly love this game's color pattern. It's colorful, it's tropical. It makes you, almost happy just roaming this game. Like you kind of get like a sense of calmness and relaxation when you play this game. All the hidden details, the historical accuracies of what people were doing back then. Overall, this game is definitely in my top two, no debate. And this is why I rank it at number two. So let's move on to our final one and the winner. All right, and moving on to the finale and the winner. I have Assassin's Creed Origins as my favorite setting in any Assassin's Creed game ever. And to be quite honest with you, the main reason why is the city of Alexandria is by far my favorite setting in any game I've ever played. I think the city of Alexandria is the best city we've ever had in any game, due to the sheer amount of historical details and just the way that tropical feel almost, where it's very vibrant, colorful, and all the archetypes of the buildings. This game has my favorite buildings ever, especially when you go up to like the top left of the actual map, and you see all the Roman architect and influence. I really like the diversity in this game by far the most. If you go to the city in Alexandria, there's a channel called Assassin's Creed Echoes. If you watch their video of this game and you read the history of it, I think you'll look at Alexandria in a way different light. It's just got so much detail. The Great Library of Alexandria, the Royal Palace, everything about this game was so different from the very heavily sanded storms like Letopolis City, which is literally just a straight sand that got, or a straight city that got buried in sand, to going to Memphis, which is getting overflown with water. Then you go to Alexandria, the Lighthouse of Alexandria, the seven wonders of the ancient world. I mean, this game has it all in terms of diversity, color pattern, very tropical, gives you a more relaxing, chill vibe. This game, in my opinion, is number one, and I don't really even know if it's close. You can maybe argue with two other games, it's close, but in my overall opinion, I think Assassin's Creed Origin takes the cake. Especially because I feel like every building in this game looks so much different, especially in like the Fayum Oasis. There's a little town, and some of the buildings there are like Greek influence, and it looks almost modern because of how high tech they were back in these times. And then you can travel to Siwa and see the what the Isu's kind of influence was with the temple, with the priestess temple at the top of that hill in Siwa. There's just so much design in this game and so much things you can find and be like, wow, that's amazing in this game with the pyramids of Giza. Everything in this game is so diverse, and every time you go to a new city, almost every single city for me is memorable in this game, and you truly just appreciate how breathtaking this is. All right, that is my official tier list of every single Assassin's Creed game's overall setting. Let me know in the comments what you guys agreed with, what you guys didn't agree with, some things you thought I forgot about, maybe I didn't mention. Just go ahead and down, comment it, and let me know if you guys liked the video. As always, I'm always down to discuss anything. I love talking about Assassin's Creed, and I'm sure if you're watching this video, you do as well. So if you have any comments or anything you would like to add to this video, just make sure to drop it down below, and I'll try to read them. And as always, if you guys could, maybe give me a like and subscribe. That would mean the world to me. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. See ya.